Greetings, friends. I'm Jada, your spiritual friend, and today we will be discussing the gender of God from a scientific and cosmic point of view. Before we get started, please press that subscription button down below if you're interested in more conscious content. So let's get right into it. The beginning of life as we know it has been summed up in many creation stories told by countless individuals by way of books, myths, and theories. However, most fail to look at the evidence that has been right in front of our eyes and all around us since the beginning of time. Before our conception, our home as unfertilized eggs was inside of the womb of our mother since the time she was inside of the womb of her mother. Put simply, an early developing fetus has around 6 million eggs, and by the time of her birth, that number is reduced to between 1 and 2 million eggs. This fact expresses that you and I have been part of our mother's very being before she even took her first breath. Now, one may say that our actual conception did not occur until after our mother engages in sexual activity with our father, and that is partially true. However, it is noteworthy to mention that again, as unfertilized eggs, you have always been a part of your mother. Yet the other aspect of that fertilization, sperm, was not produced in your father until he was at least 12 years old. So although man may plant the seminal seed, the woman nourishes, sustains, and delivers it. And this is a fact. Now, we must look at creation from an evolutionary standpoint. Whether you agree with the concepts of evolution or not, the fact remains that we share DNA with every living organism on the planet. From the tree outside of your house, to baker's yeast in your kitchen, to the animals that you both fear and love. Modern day humans have been on Earth for about 200,000 years, but evidence shows that our animal relatives have been here for billions of years. So it is safe to say that they can tell us a lot more about ourselves than we can even conceptualize. One example we'll highlight happened at a Louisville zoo where a python named Thelma, who had been in captivity since birth and had never even seen a male python, laid 6 eggs that later developed into healthy young snakes. How did that happen? Well, we can blame it on a phenomenon called Parthenogenesis, which literally translates to virgin creation or virgin birth. Sound familiar?
Jesus Christ!
Usually, sexual reproduction involves 2 variables, an egg cell and a sperm cell. Each provide half of the genetic information necessary to create a living organism. But in parthenogenesis, the body of a particular female species finds a pretty unique way to fill in for the genes usually produced by sperm, resulting in the female giving birth without the aid of a male whatsoever, while still keeping her species alive and well. This phenomenon still occurs not just in some snakes, but in certain bees, ants, fish, lizards, species in which our survival depend on. When producing parthenogenically, most species only produce females, and in rare cases, if a male is produced, he will only be able to generate sperm containing X chromosomes, resulting in all of his offspring being female. So again, as we discussed earlier, we share DNA with every living thing on Earth. And as we watch a fetus develop inside of the womb, there are striking resemblances to many of the animals previously mentioned. We breathe underwater like fish. At 6 weeks, we resemble tadpoles, and we even have tails like lizards. Mother Nature, the great cosmic mother, has been trying to open our eyes for centuries. If you trace back the mitochondrial DNA within ourselves, every single human living today shares one common female ancestor known as the mitochondrial Eve, who lived between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago in southern Africa. There are studies and evidence which also suggest that the first humans were hermaphrodites and produced parthenogenically, but were female in appearance, which only makes sense considering a male would not be able to breastfeed his infant. So with all that, we see that from one came all. After all, Wouldn't the creator of all express its supreme gender as the producers of life? Well, she has. The idea of a single male god or creator is actually a fairly new concept, stemming from popular mainstream religions and their texts. However, many ancient stories that predate these texts all show life being created from a cosmic egg laid by the great mother, creatress of all. In fact, goddess worship traces back to the Paleolithic and Neolithic ages. Anthropologists studying the rites and rituals of the Paleolithic communities over the last 2,000 years have discovered countless stone figurines, including the famous Venus of Willendorf, which was found near Austria and is said to be over 30,000 years old. These figurines and countless other ancient statues confirm the worship of the divine feminine and have appeared all over the world, from Mother Africa to Turkey and Israel. A goddess we'll discuss that was present during biblical times and then later edited out of the Bible was Asherah, the consort or wife of Yahweh, the God of the Bible. The name Asherah actually appears 40 times in the Hebrew Bible, but is much reduced in English translations. Ancient Israelites worshipped both Yahweh and Asherah, and there are documented inscriptions of petitioners asking for blessings from the pair. Asherah, also known as Astarte or Ishtar, was an important deity who was both mighty and nurturing. Her principal epithet was "she who walks on the sea." Sound familiar?
Jesus Christ!
Well, the ancient Israelites practiced polytheism, with only a small amount of them worshiping Yahweh alone prior to 589 BC, when Nebuchadnezzar laid siege to Jerusalem, culminating the destruction of the city. The Temple of Solomon, which had representations of the goddess by way of massive pillars and trees, was destroyed, and worship of the single male god began. Jews in Jerusalem and across the world to this day pray and fast in remembrance of the destruction of this temple. Now, this is just one example of a deity being destroyed and eventually replaced with a male. But suggesting that God is male goes against nature, because there would be no male without the female. The egg could not have logically come before the chicken. Father Nature did not give birth to the earth, I'm sorry. Now, this is not a speech that's an attack on men. This is simply to raise awareness on the programming forced on us to venerate and accept male dominance while dismissing the beauty and power in goddess worship. There is a severe imbalance within the tapestry of existence on this planet. Feminine energy must be recognized in all of humanity in order for unity consciousness to take precedent over the current darkness saturating our world. This imbalance can be amended once the woman is recognized as the divine essence that is necessary in order for the male to exist on this planet. Many mainstream texts also contain root words and information that's also quite telling of their motives. The word devil is actually derived from the Sanskrit word Devi, meaning goddess. According to the book of Genesis, God created man, or Adam, who, after looking around him and seeing all the other animals with their female counterparts, grew lonely, causing God to put him to sleep and take from him a rib to create the woman, Eve. Eve then went on to be tricked by the devil in snake form and ate from a tree, the tree of life, resulting in removal from paradise, death for all humans, and birth pains for women. It is also noteworthy to mention that snakes represent wisdom, great health, and sacred feminine kundalini energy everywhere except the Bible, a book full of symbolism. So, the questions remain. Why would God create a female in every species originally surrounding Adam, yet the female human was an afterthought? Why did Eve's transgression cause birth pains when during birth her cervix expands 500 times its size, naturally resulting in pain? Why do other animals and species experience birth pains? What did they do to deserve such treatment? Why do all babies in utero start off as female? The answer, put simply, is that although the Bible and other texts contain information that can be uplifting, the true story of creation is still untold and cannot be summed up by a book written by man, yet inspired by a male God who said himself in Psalms 82:6 and John 10:34 that ye, humans, are God, yet gave the creative, godlike power and qualities to women and the female species. The creator of all bestowed the power of reproductive creation to the woman because she is a direct reflection of God. So, what effects have come from replacing the supreme deity with a masculine energy? Well, let's go back to the Bible. The word pagan is mentioned in the Bible hundreds of times with a very negative connotation. By definition, the word pagan is a person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main world religions, a person worshiping multiple gods, or a person who worships nature and the earth. The latter part of that is quite unsettling for me because the earth is what actually physically provides for us. And it seems that when people stopped viewing Mother Nature as sacred, the powers that be were able to easily exploit, abuse, and defile our earth. When we separated ourselves from the earth or the world, we essentially separated ourselves from the source of all life on this planet. Many ancient civilizations that were viewed as pagan were actually far more advanced than we even recognize. Many showed reverence to the elements, recognizing the connections and similarities between the 28-day cycle of the moon and the menstrual cycle of the woman, and planned things accordingly, taking only what they needed and adhering to the boundaries set by Mother Nature. Ancient Egyptians worshipped both male and female deities and showed the utmost respect to the woman, as they knew she was necessary in order for true power to be found. Most societies in earlier times were also matriarchal and had more peaceful, unified societies. When we stopped reciprocating to the earth and stopped respecting the woman not just as the one who cares for the children, but the one who creates, nurtures, and educates the next generation, we weakened our collective power and led unsustainable lives that are not conducive for balancing our planet. Humans stopped believing what was intuitively within and traded knowledge of self for written knowledge by man. Now, this discussion wasn't just to get your thoughts moving, but to also inspire a call to action. Question and research everything that you have ever been told. The deeper you go, the more feminine it will get, which is why it is integral for women and others to respect her just as you would respect your home. The great cosmic mother has provided us with a fertile planet that is more than deserving of our collective efforts toward creating unity with nature. The divine feminine is within us all, and now it is more important than ever to tap into this limitless, seemingly forgotten energy that was placed here for our benefit. Now, that is my take on the gender of God. I've provided all of my references in the description box below. Please comment and let me know how you feel after doing your own research. Again, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you soon with more conscious content.